welcome to the High Performance Cricket Podcast. Today, if you listen to this podcast in full, I can guarantee that you will take away something that can make you a better cricketer right now today. Whether you're a cricketer striving to make it to the top, whether you're a coach who's trying to help other cricketers achieve their dreams, or you're a parent of a cricketer who wants their kid to get the best out of themselves and enjoy their cricket as much as you possibly can, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Jason Cox, the founder of High Performance Cricket. And at High Performance Cricket, we combine strength and conditioning, mental skills, the cricket technical and tactical skills, and overall lifestyle development from nutrition, recovery, and everything that goes into making cricketers a better player. I have all my links down below in the description. If you have any interest in working with us to become a better cricketer or your child to become a better cricketer. But for now, let's get into the show. I still find it crazy that I get to work with international cricketers, some of the best players in the whole entire world. And this week, I had the fortunate chance to start that up again. And one of my long-term clients, Toddy Murphy, started back in the gym this week for his off-season after finishing up at his duties at Cricket Victoria over the past week or so. And then bang, straight in the gym. Didn't really wait a week. And we're back putting in some work as we're getting his body ready for this upcoming off-season. Some of the conversations that we're having, some of the things that we're talking about, the things that we're working on, the way how he come in with a plan and a purpose and his intensity to train was unbelievable. And I'm going to take you through a few insights later on some ways how you can learn from international cricketers, players with the baggy green, players that have got out Virat Kohli, some say maybe the best of all time, on how he comes in and prepares, and how I've observed other professional athletes and how they go about their training. As well as my cricket, high performance cricket, I also do the high performance managing role for the Haileybury School footy team, which is like a private school in Melbourne as well. And I was fortunate enough this week to be around some former professional athletes as well. Not only is our coaching staff listed with former guns of the AFL, we also had Bailey Smith from Geelong, Cody Waitman from Western Bulldogs down for some guest appearances this week. And then also a national recruiting boss to Shane O'Brien, who is the head recruiter for the Magpies, but also played quite a few AFL games as well. So this week has been a busy week for me as I've been out at school, I've been in the gym, taking on more workloads with the professional athletes coming through the gym now. But absolutely loved every bit of it because some of the exposure that I've been a part of and the learnings I've got from some of these top dogs is something that I'm so keen to pass on to you in the rest of this chat. When I trained myself, I used to think I trained like a lot, and I used to do a lot of volume, whether it was footy or cricket, and I was stagnating quite a fair bit. Like I was doing so much training, it felt like I was doing all my bowling workloads. Like back in the day, when I was in the junior Vic setup, and that would have bowling workloads with a tick off, and I'd be going through and I'd be ticking those off, and then I'd always break down and get injured, and I wasn't progressing the way I'd like, and it was so frustrating. Like one of those things where like you want something so bad, and you feel like you're putting the work in, you feel like you're training hard, and you're not getting the results that you want. And it's not only now on reflection that I wasn't training with like much purpose or intent. I was sort of just training to train rather than training to get better. Now, it's something that over the last few years, the lessons that I've learnt, I've really tried to pass on to my online clients that I work with. And it was just yesterday. I was talking to one of my clients over in New Zealand, and he was talking about, we were talking about his season last year, and he didn't quite have the season he wanted, and he thought he was going to play this grade, but unfortunately he was playing a grade or two below, and he got into a bit of a spiral where he couldn't quite deal with the pressures he was putting on himself, and it caused him to train more and more and more and more and more, and then he'd go into games mentally fried, and it was just forever ending cycle where he just couldn't get a clean slate, couldn't play with freedom. He wasn't getting any better, but he thought he was training so much. He's like, why am I getting better? And we unpacked his training, we talked through it, and we come to the realization that he had the same issue that I was having, and it was training a lot, but not with any intent, not with any plan of getting better. Now, not only when Toddy was in the gym yesterday with me, not only did we talk a whole lot of shit, and we caught up and we talked anything from the footy to the races to holidays to some just general gossip. We also chatted about some of the things that he wants to work on with his cricket, and in particular his bowling action, being off spinner. From a physical point of view, it's like, how can we then use the gym to create a more efficient bowling action that doesn't cause him to overload his shoulder, which he's had some issues with, and he's played through some pain and injuries the last couple of years. And one thing that we're being really, really particular with is, some of the positions in the joint angles, and we're really, really being analysing those. So let's look at his front leg, for example, and we had a plan where we don't want to leak energy through his front leg. So when your front foot touches the ground as a spinner, you don't really want your heel to drop down towards the ground, because if your heel drops down towards the ground, then more got to muscle the ball through with your back shoulder, rather than being elastic and springy and explosive and getting up and over the top of your front leg. So that's something that we're looking at there. So I got a couple of med ball drills, and the ways how we're doing the med ball drills, the way how we did some calf isometrics and some calf raises and things like that, the plyometrics and everything of those natures to develop that tendon stiffness. That's what we're trying to develop, some Achilles tendon stiffness. And one thing that we actually found really, really valuable that you can use for your training is that we actually started videoing every single set. And then we're comparing left leg versus right leg. We're looking at, like I said, this cue, and then we see how that cue responded to a different cue. And essentially it was problem solving on the spot. And we're working on ways on how we can essentially not allow that heel to drop, and to ensure he is working on developing that efficiency through his front leg, so then he doesn't have to put all that stress through his bowling shoulder, which has caused him a lot of grief in the past. Now, this was awesome for me as a coach, as somebody who just loves getting people better. I think that's my passion. It's I just love watching people get better. It's the best thing ever. And if I can help, a 15-year-old kid or a 20-year-old kid or someone like that get better, then I just love that. Doesn't matter if they're playing professional cricket or playing, fourth grade, or playing under 14s or under 12s. Doesn't matter. I just love getting people better. Now, what I love about this, chat with Toddy is that he wasn't not resting on his laurels. You can think that once you get to the top, or once you take a test 6 for, or 7 for, maybe it was a lot. Or you've gotten out Virat Kohli or things like that. You just take the foot off the pedal and you're pretty happy with where you are, but absolutely not. Complete opposite. It was actually like that. Coming in with an intensity to train, to get better, and purpose. This isn't stuff that I come up with. I'm not a spin bowling guru at all. But he come in with, this is what I want to work on. This is the thing I'm trying to improve, get better. This is what I don't want. This is the feeling that it is. And that's the best way to improve, and the best way to get better faster is to come into train with a purpose and knowing what you want to get better at. That is the key. If you just do that every single training session, you will get better way faster, and you'll need to do half the amount of volume. Circling back to my online client who I was talking to yesterday as well, he's planning on going down to the nets 3 hours a day and all that sort of stuff, all that, so much volume in the nets. And I sort of challenged him a little bit, and sometimes it's really important to have those challenging conversations because that's where I feel like some people get their growth out of. Now, obviously, nothing has to be overly serious all the time, but I was like, look, do you really need to be hitting balls for 3 hours to get the results that you want? Especially in April. It's like, or could you go in for half an hour and have a specific purpose on what you want to get better at? And I think that is always going to be the best answer because there's no point batting for 3 hours or bowling for 3 hours, fielding for 3 hours if you're not going to actually get better out of it. You're just like training to get tired rather than training to get better. And I'd almost argue it's not even training. I see training as like it's a way to get better at something in particular, whereas you're just sort of exercising if you're just or working out. If you're just going to the gym or going to the nets or going for a run without like a purpose to get better. And maybe me when I was younger, I might have thought, oh, this is way too much. This is way too complex. But I don't think it is. Because what I do, I ask my clients these two questions. It's like, what are you going to get better at? A really simple question. Like, what are you going to get better at? Write that down. And then write down how you're going to do it. And as simple as that, you write down, all right, this is my plan. I'm gonna do this drill. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna focus on this. Whatever it is, bang. 2 minutes, and you've already got an unbelievable plan ready to go. And you have, it's like now you have lanes on a freeway. Now you sort of know what lane to drive in, what you want to work on, and then boom, away you go from there. Because that's one thing as well. I was having a chat with Toddy yesterday too. It's like he doesn't like chase volume in the gym, or he doesn't chase volume of his bowling. He chases outcomes, and that should be the difference. Don't chase the volume, which is an input. Chase an output or an outcome that you want. So don't just go into training. Okay, I want to hit balls for 3 hours. It's like, no, I want to improve my front foot defense. And if I can improve it in 20 minutes, then why would I do it in 3 hours? Because then you can move on to something else that you want to get better at. Or you could go home, rest and recover, which is like just as important for athletes as well. And then like the importance of like having like rest as well, like understanding that you don't need to train 24/7, 365. Yes, you do need to train hard, but doesn't mean you need to train every single day. Like rest days are so important when it comes to recovery and actually making your training like actually high intensity, because you want to have as many high intensity training sessions as you can. And like training hard doesn't equal training intensity, because like when you're fatigued and tired and it's a low quality session, you might think it's a hard session, but the intensity is still lower because you are in a fatigued state. So just making sure that you are on top of that and sort of listening to what the pros do. And the pros don't train every single day. They have their rest, but they train hard. It's like I think I talked about in an email I sent to my email list, which you can join down below if you click the 27 free tips in 27 days, which I'm doing at the moment. That I think I talked about being like a lion. It's like you're either hunting or you're resting. And what I mean by that is you either are training hard as you possibly can, or like you're chilling and you're resting and recovering. Or for me, in my field of work, it's either I'm working or I'm resting. I'm not doing these little like half jobs where I'm half in and I'm sort of switched off there and all that sort of stuff. Because you're not as productive, you don't get the work done the way that you want. So there's some things I've really been massive on trying to implement over the last little bit. And then another thing as well that Toddy and I were chatting about was about in-season gym. And I was actually talking to him about, I've had some of my clients have started up some academies and that, which is absolutely awesome. Like being selected in your first Rep Academy or Premier Academy is like the best thing ever. How good. But one thing that they've sort of says like, oh yeah, like might have to stop going to the gym now because of we're doing more cricket. And I know, and like people who know their bodies really, really well, and it's like when you have a lot of cricket load, or when you start up cricket training again, the worst thing you could do is stop going to the gym, because the gym is like our body armor. The gym is what keeps you on the park. And if you get selected and start selecting a rep team, start bowling again and start training again, then it's just wearing down your body. And if you're not building your body back up through going to the gym and staying fit, then it's like you're almost asking to get injured. Now, I'm not saying that you definitely will get injured, but if I wanted to get injured, this is what I'd do. I'd probably just do a lot of fast bowling and not go to the gym. And I'd probably just do like a lot of throwing and not go to the gym, because like not great for your back and your shoulder if you're not looking after your body. So one thing that it's super important is whenever you don't feel like you have the time to go to the gym, and if you do have lofty goals, like if you don't have lofty goals of being a good cricketer and getting the most out of yourself, and like obviously just do whatever you want. But if you do have goals of playing, high level cricket and playing, getting into the ones or making this rep team, whatever it is, then like you should be going to the gym, at bare minimum once per week. I'd recommend 2 to 3 times per week from the age of 12, 13 onwards for the rest of your life for 51 weeks of the year. Like there should never really be a time where that drops off throughout the whole year. Like when you're sick, obviously, maybe like over Christmas, if you're away or something like that. But there's like I actually really can't see a period where you would stop going to the gym. Like during like tournament, if you're playing an all-week tournament, that might be the week. So it might be like 49 weeks of the year potentially. But there should never really ever be a time where you stop doing any gym at all for a whole entire week. Let alone some people's mindset of doing like a 12-week gym block and then stopping and then coming back in the winter, because the body doesn't just hold on to all your progress. It detrains and it gets worse, and it goes back to that level that you're at anyway. So me personally, I hate seeing people waste their time. And there's no point doing gym for a little bit and then stopping. It needs to be something that continually happens throughout the whole entire year. And that was something that was really big and cool from the AFL players that were with for our school footy camp. They were talking about their overall preparation and the things that they do to prepare their body to play, and their mind as well. So things like Bailey Smith talked about having like a journal where he'd write down before each and every single game. He'd write down 3 things that he did that made for him footy fun. And I think this is a great one for cricketers. Like he'd write down 3 things that you do when cricket is fun. What do you enjoy about playing cricket? Because I know I've been there. Geez, I've hated playing cricket so much. God, you would have hated to see me play. Like, what year were you now? Maybe 5 years ago, and I was hating playing so much. It was the worst. Like I absolutely dreaded it. But then I sort of found my enjoyment again. And I wish I sort of heard this bit earlier, because writing down like the 3 things that you enjoy about playing cricket. Write down that in the morning, and 3 things that you're like that you need to do to play well. And that's something that Bailey Smith does. He plays for Geelong in the AFL. If you're listening from outside Australia, which I know that a lot of people will. So if you Google AFL, you'll see that sport, and Bailey Smith's one of the most marketable players and playing really good footy right now too. So he talks about that, and then he talks about his training and his physical preparation, and he just talks about like how important being fit is. Like he was talking about like he puts so much effort into maintaining his body, and if you go on his social media, he's got one of the best rigs of all time. So talks about how dialed in he is with his nutrition, his gym and training. Like when he goes away on holidays and things like that, like his training never takes a hit. Like, he's always working in the gym. He's always running. He doesn't really take more than, half a week off, which, like, some have almost accused him of overtraining in the past. So it's find that balance of holding it back and things like that. So it was great to see, like, one of the best athletes going around in Australia talk about how he prepares his mind and his body, and the sacrifice that he'd make when he would, like, go away. He would always look at gyms nearby, running parks nearby, places where he could run. Like, is there a treadmill at the hotel? Things like that. Like, some of those things that some people might not do. I always love doing that. Like, I'm going down to Torquay this afternoon for the long weekend in Easter, and I'm sort of looking at where can I go to the gym in Torquay on one of the days just to get a session in, just because I find that enjoyable. Like, I think if you can make, like, fitness and go and gym and running and all that sort of stuff part of your lifestyle, like, it makes it so much easier. Like, I'm not, like, punishing myself by going to the gym. It's like I'm looking forward to doing that, and it's one of those things where, as human beings, you like doing things that you are good at. So it's like, and the only way to get good at going to the gym is just by continuously going, and the better you get at it, the more you enjoy it, I feel like. So that's really, really powerful as well. So hopefully I can sneak in a gym session when I'm away in Torquay, because I think, I dare say, there'll be a few beers happening as well, especially tomorrow night. Bit of a DJ event popping off there, so that should be good fun. And I reckon there'll be a couple at the footy on Saturday too. So, and then I'll circle back to, like, Cody Waitman, and that talked about too, just like playing for the enjoyment and the mental side of the game too. It was so massive as well. So I think, there's a couple of takeaways from today's conversation. It sort of went all over the shop a little bit, but I think, like, hopefully you guys took something out of, like, probably the attention to detail stuff with Murph, and how, the best players in the world train and prepare, and why like, they are the best. And hopefully you can take some of that into your training. Like, go into sessions a bit more prepared. You can go into sessions with a bit more intent, understand and know what you want to get better at, and then go from there. Like, rather than just, training for a few hours day in, day out, could you train for less but get more out of it? Or that's a great way to think about it. Could you train for less but get more out of it? I don't mind that, because once again, as I said before, we want to be focusing on outcomes, not focusing on volumes. That's the key. But I hope you have a great weekend. As I said before, I'm heading down to Torquay for the long weekend, which should be awesome. 7 mates. I'll get out of Melbourne tonight, and then head down. Might go down and watch a bit of Bells Beach as well. It's where they do Bells Beach, so I might watch some of that over the weekend. But I reckon it'll be a very nice weekend. I'm pretty keen. As I mentioned, it's been a busy week for me with extra Haileybury stuff. I felt like I've been a little bit behind on work, so sometimes you need to get stuff done. So I've got up a bit before 5 today on a Thursday, because I needed to get this recorded. I needed to get messages out to my clients to make sure they're all good and going well. I needed to record some feedback for some of my clients around their exercises, techniques, their bowling techniques, and that, etc. And I needed to make sure that was all done, so I can still get a gym session in, and then still also go out for a little bit of a run as well before. Got a Haileybury practice match today. So sometimes it's a good lesson as well, just when you need to get stuff done, you need to get stuff done. But hope you enjoyed the pod today. We'll be back recording one of these from next week as well. So have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you guys soon. And that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks for watching, guys. I know you haven't subscribed yet, so please make sure you do right now. Leave a review and let me know any feedback or any questions that you have from this previous episode. If you are interested in becoming the best cricketer that you've ever been and getting coaching from me, I have all my links down below in the description for either my in-person based in Melbourne or my online coaching where you can be anywhere around the world. Thanks, guys. Feel free to share with a friend, and thanks for tuning in. win the day.